So I'm super excited to be here with Daniel from Orcavue and Sharone from Chit Chat Photo Booth. We're going to be discussing 360 because that seems to be a major trend in the industry over the last couple of years. I'd love to start with Daniel and the story of Orcavue. How did you get started? How did you even start building these things? Like, I don't really know the origin story.
Yeah, sure. So it's definitely kind of a whirlwind. We started in 2014. My brother and I were trying to film a video, just like some backyard stunt where basically I light myself on fire, and we needed to do it in the middle of a field. And he's a videographer, and he was like, okay, we have one camera, but I want to get this matrix bullet time effect. And I was like fresh out of engineering school, and I was like, okay, well, we could make this thing where we like spin the camera around really fast and we stand on it, and so like nothing overhead catches on fire. We needed to do it in the middle of this field so like no one caught us doing it. So we like went home that day, and we like it took about a week. We like garage built like the very first platform. It was made out of like a coffee can and a lacrosse stick and a fan motor and a bunch of just random things you find in your dad's house. And we built the first one, and we never actually filmed the video that we were set out to film, like lighting on fire there, because we got so distracted with like all the other fun stuff that we could be doing with this like 360 rig. And it wasn't until maybe like 6 months later that someone was like, hey, can you guys do this for an event for us? And we were like, what are you talking about? Like, you want it like a photo booth? And they were like, yeah, like, can you come and like use it at an event? And at this point we had we had like created a business, which we had no idea what we were doing when we first started, and patented it and started manufacturing them. It was just me manufacturing in this like do-it-yourself maker space. So I learned how to do all the machine work and everything, which is why we never sold them really at first. It was just me manufacturing each individual part. So we sold a couple of them, but then we were like, oh, this is a lot of work. And then we discovered this event industry where we could like bring these products, use them at the event, and then bring them home, and then we could do it again the next weekend. And we were like, well, this is pretty fun, and we get to travel. So it kind of expanded from there. We prototyped.
Before you continue, just got a couple questions from
Sure.
this. That video that's like got you guys to make it. What was that? Just like a fun video you guys were doing with your brother, or was there a purpose behind it?
Yeah, so we had like growing up as kids, we always like filmed each other doing like extreme sports and stunts and stuff. And at one point we were on America's Got Talent, and we were doing like fire stunts. And so we were filming some fire stunts for our audition reel for that. We had a production company called Joyriders. It was like a YouTube,
The early days of YouTube?
Yeah, exactly. Where you're like, everyone thinks they're a production company all of a sudden, But no, it was very fun. And so we were filming for that. And
then you got distracted with this.
And we got a little bit distracted, yeah.
And you said you didn't even have the idea to do it for events. Someone came and asked you. How did they even find you, see you, to come approach you? Like, how did they stumble across you?
So that's a good question. After we built the first few, we made a website and posted photos of it on the website, and we emailed a few like news outlets, and we were like, there was like No Film School, some of the big like camera magazine outlets, and we were like, hey, like we came up with this new product, like you guys want to write an article on us? And a few of them did. And
what was the goal there? Because you weren't trying to get into events. Like, what did you think you'd get out of the article?
We were thinking that we would like sell it to like production companies for like commercials, or I think the first ever sale was to a TED Talk speaker. He did magic tricks, and he wanted to show that he wasn't fooling anyone by having this 360 camera spin all the way around him as he was doing the magic tricks. Of course, like, yeah, I don't know. I never actually followed up with him on it, but but he's got it somewhere. So that was the idea, was we were going to sell this to like little productions or commercials for like product photography and stuff, which is why we originally had that small 24-inch platform. And then when the events came along, we realized that, we got to fit 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people on these platforms because that's what everyone wants. And so we were kind of always directed by what the market wanted. And it was nice to kind of have that, all that time, it was like 5 or 6 years of the event world to ourselves where we could like refine and tweak our products to exactly what customers wanted. And it was a great experience. And I think it kind of brought the product to where it is today. Yeah.
Awesome. So Sharone, if you don't mind me asking you, because it seems like there's different trends in the industry where, it was the iPad boots took over, and now it seems like the 360 is having its moment. Can you describe how you first came across, like, did you know right away this is something, or did your customers ask for it? Like, how did you first get pulled into the 360?
All right. It's funny because when Daniel was in the makerspace, there was a network event that was held in one of the top event spaces in that same building, and they had the Orcavue. And I got on it, and we made really great videos. They were just like taking our phone and putting it on there, and they were spinning it around. And then I saw your space downstairs, and I don't know how we got to meet, but I went in there, I showed you the video I made, and they're like, oh, the arm was spinning too fast. Let me show you how this is really done. I made some more videos with them. But it was a question to get it out there. But at that time, my clientele wasn't ready for the pricing. It wasn't out there like that. So I didn't move at that point. But like you said, the trend has picked up. There was a very, celebrity that made it very famous.
I think I know who you're talking about. but a lot of them are posting this stuff now. So you mentioned the pricing.
Yeah.
Is it something that happened that caused the pricing to go down, or is it just people more willing to pay for it and increase their budgets? What happened there?
Yeah, I think the more people know about something and see how cool it is, they're going to want it. And so I think it came like a bolt of lightning. Everybody wanted a 360 at the same time. And so it's just expanded like crazy to the point where my phone doesn't ring without someone just saying they want a 360 booth, where it used to ring all the time for just photo booths. But now it's 360, 360, 360.
Do you have any advice on how to maintain the premium pricing? Because usually when things get that big, everyone's competing and there's like a battle to the bottom. How do you maintain the premium pricing on a popular product?
Well, we maintain it by, of course, using quality products. So by using Orcavue, we know we are delivering a great experience. So I sell on creativity. I sell on experience rather than price. Also, a lot of my clientele know my standards, and I'm going to deliver a fabulous experience. And so I don't really focus on the pricing to compete with people that are lower than me. I know that I'm delivering the right product because I have the right vendor, manufacturer partnership, and my stuff is going to work. So sometimes I've heard some horror stories about people getting the experience and it's not quite what they thought. But just taking the time and really learning what people want out of it has made us successful and able to get the higher price clientele.
So Daniel, you said that you started to get pulled into the event world. You did your own events. Do you have any advice? Because I think I see crazy clients that you guys have had over the years. How do you get those clients, especially when you're first starting out?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think we had a little bit of a different situation when we were starting out, just because a lot of those clients had to come to us because we were the only ones that had a 360. But I do think it's a matter of like really pampering them, like providing, especially with the big corporate clients, providing them with every piece of information that they would ever need to present to their boss, like any renderings, photos, PDFs, because they're all just putting it into a presentation to send to their CEO. That was at least in our experience, those were most of our clients were these big ad agencies or big name brands, and it's all it just climbs up this corporate ladder until the guy at the top approves it. So it's really pampering them, responding within minutes to every email that they send, and really just going above and beyond like their expectations. Make sure that you know what their expectations are, and that make sure that they know what your expectations are. So there's no surprises at your event. And we always, try to exceed whatever the expectation is, and they'll ask for you to come back for sure.
how does it feel from building this thing in your garage, all of them by yourself, by hand, to now seeing everybody else, kind of doing the same thing? So from being the creator of something to seeing people basically copy it, how do you view that?
I guess, yeah, I don't know. I definitely have mixed feelings on it. Like it's awesome that this thing, when we were originally pitching it to people, they were like, "Oh, that's a one-trick pony. Like that'll never last. That's dumb." And we were like, "I don't know. It's pretty cool, but sure." It's awesome to see like where it's gone, and everyone that is in the industry now that love the product. Obviously, like the mixed feeling of like, okay, well, everyone copied our product. Like, I guess copying is like the best form of flattery. Yeah,
they say that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not flattered, I guess, that much, but I don't know. And competition is good, they say. So it's for the customers at least. So there's always a silver lining there.
Yeah, it's. I ask because I've had similar experiences, and they say imitation's like flattery. It's really not. You feel like I made this thing, and everybody else just copying. But I find like if you watch Shark Tank or shows, that's like normal when you have something that works. In capitalism, people just copy it, and then there's like a competition and battle to. But like you said, it's better for the consumer. So it forces you to get better, and the competition makes better products. So Sharone, I think you have a lot of experience selling this. What I'm really curious to hear about is, like Daniel just said, is that at first it was unique. You had to go to him, right? Now it's this big thing. How do you know the common question people always ask? Oh, it's just a fad. They say that with everything, but you don't know until a few years later, like this is no longer. Do you think it's a fad? Do you think it's got legs? Is it just its moment and it'll pass, or is there something else going on here?
Well, I hope it's not a moment and that it will pass. But if it is, I think we still have a lot of longevity with it. I think it's very fresh and new. Every time I'm called upon it, they really don't even know what it is yet. So the spin thing, the camera, it's a camera that it goes around. So I know we have a lot to go, a long way to go, because they don't even know what it is yet. And so the more that we have it, the more creative we can be with it. We're adding green screen to it. We're adding effects to it. So I think it has legs, and it's going to go pretty far. Will it die out? Maybe. It's video, and as long as videos are hot and we can keep adding on, I think it's going to go pretty far.
They've been saying photo booths are going to die out for like 15 years,
and it hasn't.
Well, the social media generation helps because like there's a need for all this content for people, for companies. Do you get any feedback from your clients, like product feedback on new things to improve the 360 product with? Like, I imagine you get feedback from your clients. Do you get feedback from people at events of ideas to make it better?
Most of the things that people want with the 360, they love the effects that we do with it, as far as like the overlays and the filters that we can use with our softwares. But they also like our staff. They like that our staff is very educating them on how to get on the platform, how to pose, how to make the best videos. We also add really great lighting, so they look really, really good. We also add confetti, just making a whole mess. Brings a lot of attention over to the platform, and they really have a good time. And that we have bigger platforms so that you can enjoy it with a lot of friends and family. That's been a turning point for our business, because we started with a smaller platform, and now that we have a larger platform, we stand out in our market because we can provide more fun at events with lots of guests on the platform.
So in a similar kind of thing to Daniel, there's different ways. You have the engineering background. There's different ways of handling things where you focus on making one thing like the best possible thing, or adding to it and doing different products. How do you view yourself going forward? Are you trying to improve that product, perfect it, create new products? Like, what's the future of Orcavue?
So when we did events, all of our staff, the biggest fear of anything was getting to the event and having something not working right. And it's like this like gut wrenching feeling that you're like, okay, like, especially when we were first starting out, it's like, is everything going to work out today at this event? Like, you have one shot to catch LeBron James or whatever it may be. Like, you can't mess it up. So a big focus for us is like reliability of the product. And I think we try to conquer that before expanding to anything, like perfecting that. So like nobody ever will have that gut wrenching feeling of, oh, my booth won't work. It, maybe they're lights or something else, but so that is our main focus. That being said, we do have, obviously we released the new Airline at PBX this year, which is an upgraded model or models from our previous 360 booths. And we do have a very awesome, completely, maybe not as revolutionary as the 360 booth, but along the same lines coming out in the near future, which we're super excited to.
Teaser.
Yeah.
You dropped the breadcrumb there. Okay. So as we're wrapping this conversation up, I'm curious to hear about how you view Orcavue's role in the industry, because it seemed like you had a few years to yourself, and now I think the last PBX was the first time you guys were in the show, and now you decided to sell it to more people. You're getting more involved in the industry. Can you talk through the evolution of your role in the industry and how you see it going forward?
Sure, yeah. It was a pretty hard, pretty stark transition. Basically, we did events up until 2019, 2020, and right when we were like, all right, guys, I think we should stop doing events and start selling these, because we're all like you can only be traveling every weekend for so many years at a time before your significant other is like, you need to be home. And so we're all kind of on the same page of like, all right, guys, let's like kind of tinker off events or peter down on the events and start manufacturing. And that was right when COVID hit. And so events shut down for us, and we're like, okay, well, so we turned our events warehouse into like a manufacturing facility, which it already kind of was, because we still built everything there, but we just vamped it up a little bit. And so from basically the start of the pandemic, we did more mass manufacturing at our facility in DC. And at first, I think it took a little bit to catch on, especially with all there was never a software that worked when we did events. We had to make our own software, and it was a little bit of a project each time. But now with all these software companies, I think that is also part of the reason why 360 has blown up, is because you can actually go to an event and just stick your phone on there, and it puts an overlay on there, it puts music on there, it puts effects on there, it sends it to your customer or your guests within minutes. And that was never a thing before. So it was like really hard to operate a booth. But now with the software and the integrations that we have with all these companies, it makes it a much more reachable device for people to use at events. And so, yeah, kind of between, I guess also we didn't want to do events, but then also compete with our customers who buy units for that same event. So that's, yeah.
So how do you handle that?
So we just pass off anyone who reaches out for an event. We just pass it off to a customer in that area.
Wow.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Someone like.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. That's. I was going to ask you about that too, because it seems like you've shifted away from doing the events, but you're supporting the people that buy your product, not by only making a great product, passing work on to them as well. And I have a few friends that have told me that they have done work for you guys. So that's a huge selling point, I think, compared to other vendors. Mm-hmm. I think one final bit of advice from Sharone about how to sell. Like, they did a great job, great product. How do you sell it? So people that are considering buying 360s this year, any advice to them on how to promote and sell their product?
Well, I definitely appreciate the partnership and relationship I have with my manufacturer, because I know I sell my product a lot better because of the knowledge that they give me. I know what it's made of. I know the capabilities of the platform. So I sell, I educate first, and then I'm an easy sell to my client because they know what I'm talking about. They know I'm going to deliver a quality product because I have one. When you talked about that, it works. Lights may go out, but the platform is going to spin. Mm-hmm. And not everybody can say that about their platform. So it takes a lot of the anxiety out, and it makes me more confident when I'm talking to my clients about the experience I'm going to be able to deliver. So I would tell new people that are getting in, know what you have, know your product, know the capabilities of your booth, know what softwares you're going to use, and creates a really amazing experience. And they will not deny whatever price you put out there. But go, get your value, get your worth. It's a lot of work.
my favorite book on sales was The Ultimate Sales Machine, and it's basically what you're just talking about. You educate. And if you educate the customer, they're more likely to purchase from you because they view you as the expert. People focus on selling. Hey, look at this. Hey, look at this. If you educate them, they're more likely to buy from you.
That's right.
So in closing, is any final bits of advice you want to give people in the industry or anything you want to point them to?
Definitely point them to Orcavue. It's a solid product and it has great customer service. I'm going to definitely stand behind it. Buy some more units, have some more events. Like I said, get educated on what your product is so that you're not out here lowballing the industry, because we want this to last a long time. And so it's only going to last if we really invest in it and create a really good experience that people are going to want for years and years and years, like our photo booths. That's what.
I don't think I could say it any better than Sharone just did. I'd say, I guess if you're going to get into the industry, definitely do your homework on both the hardware and the software side. And, not everyone has the same clientele. So, know who your clientele is, who your audience is. Are you going for small weddings and, little events, or are you going for the big ad agencies and brands? And that can kind of help you navigate the decisions that you have to make when purchasing a booth and software for your company.
Great advice. Thank you guys. Pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.